POV, point of view and perspective. What's point of view and perspective? Point of view is what the narrator sees in a story, and perspective is how the narrator understands what is happening in the story, like whose side's being told. In first-person point of view, the narrator is the main character of the story. In second-person point of view, the narrator is specifically talking to you as though you are a character in this story. Second person can also be commands and instructions and directions. In third-person point of view, the narrator is telling the story about the main character, but the narrator is not actually a character in the story. Third-person point of view can be limited, omniscient, or objective. Perspective of stories change depending on which character side is being told. So ask any parent of fighting kids. Stories change depending on who's talking. What is first-person point of view? Well, first-person point of view is when the main character of the story is the narrator of the story. In order to determine if a story is first person, second person, or third person, you need to look at the pronouns in the story, and you have to specifically look at the pronouns in the narration and not in the dialogue. So dialogue is going to be what the characters actually speak aloud inside of stories, and they have quotation marks around them. You don't want to use dialogue because dialogue can use pronouns I, me, my when the story isn't first person. So instead you focus on the narration. And in first person point of view, the pronouns that you will find in the narration are I, me, my, we, our, ours, mine, etc. An example of first person point of view is, I was supposed to save a few tacos for my husband, but they were too good. I am a taco addict. Taco addict! What's second person point of view? Second person point of view is when you become an actual character in the story and the narrator talks to you specifically. Second person can also be directions, instructions, and commands like, hey you, take the trash out. Second person point of view pronouns are you, your, and yours. An example of second person point of view in a story is, did you see Mrs. Schaefer eat all of those tacos and blame it on the dog? Man, she's savage. What is third person objective point of view? Third person objective point of view is when the narrator is only telling the story that is in front of his or her eyes. Remember, the narrator is not a character in third person. In fact, the narrator is not able to read any of the characters' minds in third person objective. Pronouns for third person objective are the same pronouns that you're going to see in any third person story. He, she, him, her, they, their, or character names. An example of third-person objective point of view is, Mr. Schaefer didn't get one taco. Instead, he had to eat leftover salad. Aww. What is third-person limited point of view? Third-person limited point of view is when the narrator is limiting to telling the story of one character. The narrator knows only that character's emotions and thoughts. In fact, the narrator doesn't know the thoughts or emotions of any of the other characters in the story. Third-person limited point of view pronouns are the same as any third-person pronoun. He, she, him, her, they, their, and, of course, character names. An example of third-person limited point of view is, Mrs. Schaefer felt no shame as she scarfed down all of the tacos. She didn't even think twice about inhaling the meat and cheese. Meat and cheese! What is third-person omniscient point of view? Third-person omniscient point of view is my absolute favorite kind of writing because the narrator is known as the all-knowing narrator and tells the thoughts and feelings of more than one character. pronouns for third-person omniscient are the same as what we said for all the third-person point of views. He, she, him, her, they, their, and character names. An example would be, Mrs. Schaefer loved devouring the tacos, and she blamed the dog for eating them all. The dog was shocked by this, but could not speak human. Mr. Schaefer knew his wife ate the tacos, but he decided to make her feel bad by eating leftover salad. Now he can have the rest of the pumpkin bread without any issues. Mr. Schaefer is a mad genius. Wahaha. What about perspective? Well, character's perspective, or the side of the story that's being told, significantly changes the story that's being told. Let's look at Maleficent, shall we? In the old version of Maleficent, or Disney's classic version Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent was the antagonist, the villain, the evil fairy. She came to harm little Sleeping Beauty Aurora. But in the new version of Maleficent, we get the backstory. We get to see that Maleficent was just really misunderstood and in fact taken advantage of. So, knowing who is telling the story, what side is being told from, completely changes the story, and the villain can become the hero. So to review, point of view is what the narrator sees in the story, and it's a perspective from which the story is told. First person point of view is when the main character is the narrator of his or her own story. Pronouns are me, my, mine, we, our, ours, etc. Second person point of view is a direction, instruction, or command that you follow. In a story, you become a character the narrator talks to. Pronouns in second person point of view are you, your, yours. Third person point of view is when the narrator tells a story about a character, but the narrator isn't an actual character in the story. Pronouns in third person point of view are he, she, him, her, their, they, and character names. There are 3 types of third person point of view: objective, limited, and my favorite, omniscient. Perspective is the character viewpoint in the story. Who tells the story changes how the story is told. Like I said, villains can become heroes. Just saying. Thank you for watching Distance and Learning and Teaching. Oh my! I hope you learned a lot about point of view. And if you didn't, well, watch the video again. And if you did, huzzah! Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. TTFN, ta-ta for now.